Hello everybody, this is Tim here again, here with another movie review, this time not for Paranormal Activity 5, which I do want to get that over with and wrap it up, but for Army of the Dead. Army of the Dead is directed by Zack Snyder. Now, this is an interesting one. I think how you feel about this movie would depend on your personal taste. I think a lot of people who are really big fans of Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead remake may not like this one. If you're somebody who's a huge fan of that one and you want something more like that with this one, you ain't going to get it here. This movie is for... Sorry, I had a hair in my mouth there for a second, but this movie is for people who are fans of horror B movies that are intentionally dumb and fun. This is a dumb, fun, action zombie horror comedy, really. That's what this is. That's exactly what this is. So you're going to have two types of people when it comes to this. You're going to have the type of people that see the opening of this movie and see how obviously stupid and comedic it is, and it's intentionally meant to be that way. Like when I say stupid and comedic, I'm not saying that to badmouth the movie. It's intentionally meant to be stupid, like on purpose. It's meant to be dumb. And you're going to either be one of those people who goes, I can accept this movie for what it is, and I can judge it for what it is, or you're going to be somebody who crosses their arms and goes, this is stupid. You're going to have those two types of people with this movie. Me, I can accept it. This movie is stupid, but it's fun. The movie starts out with a dude getting a blowjob, and he crashes into a friggin' army tanker or army vehicle, and it just automatically explodes. And they just happen to be carrying like a super zombie that gets out and goes to Vegas and starts an entire plague, and we see it in like a montage. Just a big montage, and we see that Batista and his friends are like an extraction team. What's one thing, like the characters in this film, we don't really get a lot of time to spend with them and all that. This is a B movie straight through and through. Like, it really requires you to just, like, this movie is also extremely rote, and it knows it's rote, it knows it's stupid. Like, this movie deliberately throws it in your face that, hey, we know we're in a zombie movie and we know it's dumb. So they're doing that deliberately so they can get you to go along for the ride. This movie's purposely for entertainment. It's not meant to be taken seriously whatsoever at all. You got the zombie plague that opens up in Vegas and everything and just kills everybody. And then you got Batista and Batista's like working as a fry cook now. And this movie is not just rote, but it's also underwritten in a lot of places. Like Batista's character, it's like the guy comes up to him, he's like, hey, you want to go steal some money? And just like Batista's just flipping burgers now when he used to be like part of a military extraction team or whatever to like get people out of Vegas during the zombie apocalypse. And Vegas has been like quarantined off and it's eventually going to be nuked. So it's an extremely rote script. This is a very generic like setup and story for a movie. But when it comes to this, all that matters is, are you having fun? This is a B movie, and it doesn't try to be anything more than a B movie. This is a 100% B film. And I say that because I know there's going to be people going into this movie going, why isn't the humor in this movie like more sophisticated, like something James Gunn like would make with like his original, like his script for like Dawn of the Dead 2004. This is not going for that at all. You cannot compare this movie to that. You have to separate that from your head and accept this movie for what it is. Now, in terms of Zack Snyder, I don't like Sucker Punch. It is a stupid film. I am a Zack Snyder fan, though. Anyone who's watched my channel knows that I like Zack Snyder, but I like Zack Snyder in a fun, blockbuster way. That's what he makes for me. Like, his most sophisticated film was, like, Justice League, because it felt like he was held back there, and that movie felt much more streamlined, so it played a lot better. So, I really love Justice League, but I'm also a fan of just his crazy blockbuster action flicks, like Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman. Like, the thing with those movies is a lot of people go into those after the Nolan movies expecting something like really sophisticated and all that. They have trouble accepting it for what it is, which is a Zack Snyder movie. I can just watch those as a Zack Snyder movie. I don't have to compare them to the source material. I can just see them as an Elseworld film and just enjoy them as a blockbuster movie with Superman and Batman in them. I'm perfectly fine with that. But Snyder was restrained and really tried to like hold himself back and his style back. You can really feel that by watching his films in order up until Snyder Cut Justice League. You can really see that he really did try to do something different there, like holding back his style and sensibilities with that one. Even though it had some of the slow motion stuff and all that, it was much more restrained for a Snyder film. film. It did feel like he was purposely being held back in that film. Here he goes back to what he was doing before with Batman vs Superman, Man of Steel, and all that, and he just goes crazy with the action. And he also deliberately made this film a B movie. This film has no aspirations to it to be anything more than a B movie time. Batista's acting in this, I'll just go ahead and say it, is bad. He is bad in this film, but he is entertaining. This whole film is entertaining if you like this type of movie. If you can just watch a B movie that has no aspirations to be anything more than just a stupid, entertaining B movie, then you will like this film. And I'll just go ahead and give my rating 4 out of 4 for just stupid, mindless entertainment. And that's exactly what this is. They get into the place, and one thing I will say, this movie is too long, and it does have some subplots and stuff that bog it down from being being more entertaining than what it actually is, or for what it is as mindless entertainment. Like, there's this whole thing with Batista's daughter, who they have like an estranged relationship where they don't get along or whatever because he never like came to see her and all that after he like had to kill his wife who turned into a zombie. And so it's like really rote stuff, but the actors do a good job of conveying it. Like, Batista's acting ranges from good, fine for the level of the movie that he's in. Like, he isn't, well, what I mean by bad is he's bad in terms of like an actual movie, but I mean in terms of being like legitimate good acting. But for a B movie, his acting is totally fine and perfectly on the level here for what this is. And he does a good job for what this movie is meant to be. Like, you could easily replace him with like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Stallone, and it would be the exact same movie. But you got Batista in here, and it's just a straight B movie, like I said. They just go in there, and Batista has to like team up with his daughter to get in there. And you got like this Mexican dude, or I don't know if he was Mexican or not, but you got like this dude who's like a rapist dude or whatever, and they purposely like shoot him in the leg and leave him there as like for the zombie queen and king to like take to transform into a super zombie. Like, anybody that gets bit by like the main leader zombie, who's patient zero, basically transforms into a super zombie like them. And the pretty much different classes. You got zombie drones who just walk around like idiots, and then you got like a zombie tiger named Valentine, who they actually call out as Siegfried and Roy's tiger. Like, that's the thing about this movie. It knows what it is, but at the same time, it never tries to be like more evolved than what it is. It never tries to be a smart version of a B movie or a sophisticated one, like something like you would see in like Evil Dead 2. This is just a complete mindless B movie and knows that it's stupid. That's the thing with this. It knows it's stupid, and it tells you straight up front, we're stupid. And I have to keep saying that because I know there's going to be people that go into this movie expecting to see some kind of sophisticated B movie or something. This is like almost like a Roger Corman movie. Like, if you know Roger Corman, where he makes like those knockoffs of other like popular movies and they're just zany. Like, even the heist thing in this movie, it's like really a B plot. Like, most of it is not even really about the heist. This really is not a zombie heist film like you might have got from the idea from the trailers. This is just a silly movie with them just like shooting zombies, and the zombies like commanding an army. And that's one thing. The first like half of this movie is overlong. It should have been condensed more to where it would have played faster and you would have gotten to the action quicker. This movie needed to be shorter. That's a Zack Snyder thing, though. He does go over long sometimes, but with the Batman and Superman movies, I didn't really mind it because I traditionally just like Batman and stuff and Superman, so I was more entertained with those going into them. With this, though, it should have been shorter because the idea is extremely simple. But you get into the movie, though, and they're there, and you find out like they were actually not sent there to rob anything at all. It was just a setup to get them there. They're really just there so they could get this dude in there who was like working for the guy who hired them all, so he could get in there and steal some zombie blood. Which really, they didn't really need Batista's team or anybody like it to do this. They could have just snuck in with just like one other person and just stolen the zombie blood. Like, you think about the plot here too hard, it drastically falls apart. But you're not meant to. This is a B movie. Like I keep trying to explain, if you don't know what B movies are, they're movies that are usually intentionally meant to be dumb and silly and just meant to be like for entertainment, like Fast and the Furious, stuff like that. Or even Leprechaun, which is a movie that's bad and meant to be an entertaining bad movie on purpose. Like that's a dumb B movie meant to just be for entertainment. And you got the team in here, and you got like this comedy relief guy who's like this blonde-haired, like what his name, Dieter or whatever, like a Russian dude or something. And He keeps walking around, like, every time he sees a zombie, he, like, screams like a girl, and it is funny for the first couple times, but he does start to kind of overdo it. But he was pretty much the standout, like, comedy relief character. Most of these characters really don't have anything to them. Like I said, this movie is extremely rote. Most of the characters, it's mostly just, like, getting in there with the team. They barely have any character to them, and they're just attacked by zombies one right after another. This chick, who's, like, clearly a ripoff of the Vasquez character from Aliens, like, gets in a fight with a bunch of zombies, like a whole horde, and she's, like, blowing them up one right after another, and then she just blows herself up. Her friend, like, shoots the gas tank thing she's got on her back, and it causes a massive explosion, and he takes out a bunch of zombies. That should tell you right there what this is. This is Fast and the Furious type movie with zombies in it. There were some clever twists. There was maybe one twist in here I didn't really see coming because of what this movie was set up to be. Like, Netflix wants this to be a franchise, and there was one thing that did surprise me I didn't really see coming. I mean, I didn't expect it, but towards the end, I did see it coming, actually, but I didn't expect it for most of the movie. Like, when you get to the end, like, most of the characters, really everybody gets killed off here. Like, the black dude, there's one black guy who's friends with the Dieter guy, the comedy relief guy, and he gets, like, locked in a vault to be saved, and at the end, after the bomb goes off, he comes back out with all the money, and I'll get to that in a second, but they're in a helicopter trying to get away, and the main helicopter girl or whatever, who was, like, actually an actress who was, like, CGI'd into the movie, you can kind of tell because they had to replace an actor who was, like, accused of sexual harassment or something like that, so they had to bring in this new actor who's also a comedian, and she is fine for what she's there for, but she never really has anything to do. She's just working on the helicopter the entire time. And at the end, like, when Batista and his daughter's trying to, like, get away in the helicopter, like, this other soldier girl is, like, using the Queen Zombie's head, like, holding it in front of the main zombie king and putting a gun to it, like she's gonna shoot it. It's really funny if you like these types of movies. And she ends up getting killed, and she drops the zombie head, like, off the roof, and it crushes, and lots of gore. Great gore in this. And then, like, the zombie king jumps on the helicopter and starts trying to kill everybody, basically, and he ends up biting Batista, and then it crashes, and he pretty much gets, like, his head blown up and eviscerated by Batista. And the daughter's the only one that survives, and she gets to go away with some of the money that Batista saved specifically to give to her. So she gets away with the money, and he starts turning into a zombie, and she has to put him out. And it's kind of a well done scene for a B movie for what this is. It's a well done scene dramatically. The acting in here is actually pretty bad and lifeless if you compare it to, like, a movie. But this is a B movie that knows it's stupid, and if you're watching something like this, you have to be willing to meet the movie from the standard that it wants you to, because if you don't, you're going to despise this movie. There's no sophistication to this movie at all. This is not like a B movie that's trying to, like I said before, trying to be smart or subvert expectations or anything. This is a B movie that has no aspirations to be anything more than just a standard B movie. This is just like a horror movie, honestly, that could have just came out in the 80s, really. And some people are going to like that about this, and I like that. I was willing to accept the movie for what it is. If you're going into this movie expecting any kind of smarts or anything like that whatsoever, you ain't gonna get it. One problem I did have with this movie is for the first, like, half of the movie, it's mostly just a couple random zombie attacks and some, like, random zombie action. It's still good action, and you got a scene where they're, like, having to walk by this big horde of zombies, like, sneak through them, who are all, like, asleep. They're pretty much going into hibernation. You get some cool, like, new ideas for the zombies here for a movie like this. And there's a zombie horse in the movie with the king riding on it or whatever, which is pretty funny. And they got a zombie tiger in here named Valentine. He's like Siegfried and Roy's tiger. There's a really cool scene where it, like, rips this dude's face off and, like, tears him apart and everything. It was really cool gore. I wanted more from the zombie tiger. It was actually underused compared to what it could have been. And I think part of the reason why is because this movie's over long, so they had to put in some, like, more padding stuff to... I think Snyder probably thinks he's letting you spend more time with the characters to get to know them and everything, so you care about them when they get munched on. But at the same time, he's not doing anything to aspire to be bigger than just a regular B movie, so it doesn't feel earned, really. The running time doesn't. But by the end of the movie, the action just goes buck wild, and just Batista's, like, shooting zombies left and right and running over casino tables and all that. And that's when the movie extremely picks up. And you got, like, this really funny scene where this girl, like, is in love with Batista or whatever, and starts talking about, I didn't come back for the money, I came back for you. And they've been building up in the movie, like, this whole romance about them and everything. And all at once the zombies just show up and just, like, snap her neck automatically. It's friggin' hilarious. And I've heard some people complain about that, but that's people that don't get what this movie is. You're not meant to really invest So you're meant to like the characters and care about them when they die, but you're also meant to understand this movie is intentionally meant to be stupid, and it's just meant to be funny, the fact that she got killed. And some people are not going to like that because they're going to be like, well, I wanted something real here with these characters, and this is not your wrong movie. Wrong movie. But you get to the ending, like I said, and Batista's dead, which was pretty sad, actually, but that still kind of surprised me, even though I saw it coming towards the end, because this is meant to be a franchise for Netflix. They want to expand on this and do more. So it's like, well, why wouldn't you want to keep Batista around? I mean, that seems kind of weird. You wouldn't want to keep him around, but at the same time, it's extremely ballsy that they killed everybody off. But yeah, you get to the end, and the black dude is like, he comes out of the vault or whatever they was in. He's still got all the money, and he's getting on a plane at the end to like fly away, and then he goes into a bathroom because he's feeling sick, and they're heading to Mexico, and he like looks at his arm and realizes he's been bit. He was bit, and he's like looking at the in the mirror laughing because he knows he's screwed, and he's going to become, he was bit pretty much, I believe, by the super zombie. So we get the idea that he's going to start the plague all over again in Mexico, and it's going to be if this movie does well, a sequel in Mexico instead of Las Vegas, and we're going to get an army of Mexican zombies, I guess. But yeah, all in all, for what it is a dark ending, but again, this is a horror movie, and it is a sequel bait ending, and that can be kind of annoying for people that just want a one-off story. But at the same time, I can accept it because I feel like it works in the context of the movie it's in, which is just this dumb, silly movie. So if you like these types of movies and you get what I've been describing here from what I've been saying, if you like stuff like Leprechaun or Critters or Ghoulies and stuff like that, and just really silly B movies, you will enjoy this. If you want something more sophisticated B movie wise, like Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead with James Gunn's script, run. Or if you're somebody who can enjoy both, like I can, then you will like this. You will like this type of movie. But movies like this are really for a niche audience, really, which is why I'm surprised Netflix spent so much money on it, because there's not a lot of people who are into these really stupid, zany type B movies like I am. There's not a big audience, a really huge audience for this, but I'm hoping that because Zack Snyder's name is on it, and that it'll do really well, so we can get a sequel. Like, I would enjoy seeing a sequel. It's just the thing with this movie is that even though I really like it because I'm willing to accept it for what it is, and I believe you should accept a movie for what it is, because you have to, that's the only way to really be fair with a movie, instead of asking the movie to be what you want it to be. But yeah, like I said, this movie has no aspirations to be anything more than just a rote B movie. That's really what it is. It's rote. It's very rote. And it knows it's rote, and it calls it out deliberately multiple times. But yeah, for what it is, it's a solid 4 out of 4. It's a great B movie. It doesn't really add anything to the zombie genre, though, or to horror genre in general. Like, it has some new, like, cool stuff with the zombies and stuff in it, but it's not anything so cool that it's gonna, like, totally blow people's minds or anything. From anybody that hasn't watched like a truckload of zombie movies before, this doesn't really add anything. Yeah, you got smart zombies and stuff, but you got that in Return of the Living Dead. The only difference here is you got like super smart zombies who are like, the main zombie leader like uses a thing over his head, and so he's like wearing a metal thing over his face to keep people from being able to shoot him in the brain, which is pretty funny. But yeah, what I'm saying is the movie has ideas here, but it doesn't aspire to really develop them fully to be anything more than just pure B-movie entertainment. And I think that might upset some people who want more from this movie, who see that it has kind of more potential with it. But if you're just willing to accept it for what it is, just as a harmless B-movie, this is easily a 4 out of 4. So thank you guys for watching. And in terms of like Zack Snyder rankings, like how would I put this? I like this better than 300, and it's easily better than Sucker Punch. I still like Batman vs. Superman, and especially Justice League, better than this. I'm not sure if I like this better or worse than Man of Steel. I think Man of Steel is a better movie than this, but this is much more entertaining from start to finish for my personal taste. So I think I probably do like this personally over Man of Steel, even though I think Man of Steel is a better movie. It's not as good as the Dawn of the Dead remake, though. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again with the final Paranormal Activity review.